The final round of the 87th Connecticut Open, presented by the Reby Financial Advisory Teams of Wealth Enhancement Group, to decide who would take home the beautiful Connecticut Open trophy. It would be going to either Ben Carpenter, Ben James, and Peter Ballo, separated by just 2 shots coming into the final round. As your outright leader coming into the final day, Ben Carpenter would flex his muscles early. A nice par save there on the par 3 second. And then on the par 5 fourth, able to grab a birdie as Carpenter looked like he was picking up right where he left off in the first 2 rounds. But then on hole 7 is where things would get interesting. An approach shot from Carpenter finds the left greenside bunker. His chip out of that bunker would go all the way to the other side of the green, and his putt up to the hole would come up just short for par. So you have to settle for a bogey there, and Peter Ballo would take advantage of that. After a beautiful approach shot that stuck it within about 6 feet, able to make a nice tough slider down the hill. Now we flash forward to the 8th, and bad luck would continue for Carpenter. Chip up to the green comes up short. He would have to settle for a par on the 8th, and you're wondering, well, where's Ben James in all of this? Well, he was right there. He'd make a birdie there on the 8th to pull within 1 shot of the lead. But then on the other end of things, Peter Ballo would drive the green here on the 8th hole, and he'd have a good look at eagle from about 70 feet, just misses it, but settles for a birdie to be tied atop the lead with Carpenter. Now we flash forward here to the 11th hole. After chipping out of the bunker and coming up well short, this chip would be for par that Carpenter was not able to make. He would settle for a bogey. And Ballo's got a chance to separate himself by 2 shots, but misses that birdie putt. He settles for a par, but he would still take the outright lead here with just 7 holes to play. Now we flash forward to the par 4 13th. Birdie look here for Ballo from about 10 feet, and he's able to sink that one as Ballo was starting to roll with the flat stick a little bit in the later stages of this one. And now we go to the par 3 14th. After a tee shot finds the water, this putt down the hill for Carpenter would be to try to save bogey, and a big putt there for Carpenter to try to stay in the mix. You see, he's not too pleased with it, but just about as good as he can do there after that errant tee shot. But then here's Ballo. He's able to save par there and make up another shot on Carpenter as he started to run away and hide in the late stages. And then here on the par 3 16th, his tee shot would come that close. He taps in for birdie there as it was all said and done pretty much after the 16th. A bogey from Carpenter would put Ballo to a 5-shot lead, and Ballo can just cruise to the finish from there, and he taps in for par on the 18th to clinch the 87th Connecticut Open Championship as he shows some respect to Carpenter and James, 2 young golfers and 2 amateurs who put up a fight against the pro. But in the end, it's Ballo taking home the trophy in this one, and for Ben James, after the late collapse by Carpenter, he would take home runner-up and low amateur honors, and for Carpenter playing in front of his home crowd, he addressed that experience afterward.
I want to thank everyone at Darien, CSGA. You guys ran an incredible event, and thank you for all the support. Obviously, it's very evident here. Really thank you guys for walking along with me for those 18 holes.
A true class act from a young man who will be campaigning his sophomore season at Yale this coming fall. But for Peter Ballo, he reflects on becoming the 87th Connecticut Open champion.
Just think I was ready. I've been close in the Connecticut Open and other Westchesters and things, and it's a learning experience to be either the guy who's leading or the guy who's a couple shots behind. It takes time to learn that. I've done it 2 or 3 times in the Westchester Open. I did it last year in this. I just think mentally I was just ready this year. Still haven't quite gathered on what this means. I was able to win the Westchester PGA match play, which my father won. So for now to do it twice in a year, it's special. And I'm sure at some point it'll hit me. Right now, I don't know how to explain it.
There you see how the final leaderboard shook out. Peter Ballo wins it at -12. James and Carpenter finish at -7 and -6 respectively. The defending champ Max Theodorakis make a climb on the final day to finish in 4th at -4. But what an event here in the 87th Connecticut Open. It is truly an outstanding event put on by the CSGA and the Country Club of Darien. But in the end of the day, it is Peter Ballo becoming the 87th Connecticut Open champion.